Hey everybody, Lakes Region Aquariums here. I'm going to talk about a new fish today, a really cool fish, a chocolate gourami. So the chocolate gourami is awesome for starters, but I wanted to say a little bit about gouramis in general. They're not my favorite fish. I actually don't like gouramis too much. I've kept them in the past. I've never really liked them. A lot of my clients keep them, and they're just not my thing. I see them and they're just not that cool to me. Now, I got a chocolate gourami for a client of mine, and the shipper actually sent me two of them, so I ended up keeping one. And I've had him for a couple of years now, and it's really an awesome fish. Like, I love these little guys. It's so cool. It's actually kind of changed my opinion of gouramis in general. So this fish lurks in Plant City. He thrives in Plant City. It's like an awesome little lone ranger kind of fish. This guy just does his own thing, swims around, super graceful. It's probably the most graceful fish I've ever seen, and probably the cutest fish I've ever seen. So it's a really awesome looking fish, and it just acts super cool in your aquarium. When you are putting them in an aquarium, obviously be careful of larger fish like angelfish and other kind of fish that are more so on the territory side, or fin nippers especially. You want to watch out for them because those guys will give these guys a hard time for sure. Definitely aim for a densely planted aquarium. You want a nice densely planted aquarium, plants everywhere, and I think you'll have the best results in behavior that way. It'll feel much more natural for the fish, and it looks really cool, just kind of gracefully swimming through, jungle val or anubias or any type of plant. Honestly, they just swim through, and they like to graze off of the plants, so you'll see them kind of nipping away, not damaging the plant, but kind of eating things off of the plant itself, like little like microbacteria or whatever. Now these guys stay really really small, so if you wanted to try these out, like maybe this is the fish you're looking up and you're like, yeah, I want to know about this fish, what kind of setup do they need? Honestly, they don't get very big. You can have them in a nice little 20-gallon aquarium, just like I said. Make sure it's nice and densely planted. These guys aren't going to thrive in flow, so you want to be careful of really powerful filters, or if your tank happens to have a lot of water flow coming from a power head or something, you want to be careful of that because they're not built to swim through water like that. They kind of like the stagnant vibe in an aquarium, but you definitely want some filtration going on in there unless you're in a super densely planted aquarium like a biotope kind of deal. Now, it is a little bit sensitive, as with most gouramis. These guys are pretty picky when it comes to what they're going to be living in for, water parameters in an aquarium. So the chocolate gourami really does, if you look it up online, they really like a 4 to 6 range of pH, and that's really low. That's pretty low in an aquarium. So if you're keeping like other fish, usually your pH is going to be more so around the 7.0 range, I would estimate. My specific fish right here thrives in 7.0 pH. He has no problem with it at all. He loves it. He has shown no stress. He shows no sign of poor health or anything like that. So he is actually doing okay in the 7.0 pH. But you want to be careful. Like, let's say you got him from a store. Chances are those fish are probably used to a lower pH if the pet store knows what they're doing, or maybe you shipped them online or something. People keeping these fish are definitely going to try and aim to own them in that 4 to 6 range, and they might not tell you that. So you can always ask before you do purchase the fish what kind of pH they're in, which is, I highly recommend doing that. But just make sure that you do get the fish and you do a very very slow, like a drip acclimation if you can, or just a very slow acclimation will make things easier on this fish. It's not uncommon to get these fish and have them die like a month or two later, or a couple weeks after you get them, and that's probably going to be because they're not really fully used to your water parameters from what they came from. So it's a kind of a slow killer. I've seen that before. So just be careful. Just do the slowest acclimation you possibly can. Put a little air bubbler in the bucket while they're doing it. Just leave them there, honestly, for a long time. Just watch the temperatures, and you should be good. You should be good after that. And make sure it's a good, healthy fish as well before you do purchase it. Really give it a look over, and ask the store you're at, ask them how long that fish has been here. If he's only been here for like a week or so, maybe hold off on him. Don't buy him yet. yeah, just hold off and wait a couple weeks and go back. And you can always ask to put him on hold too. Be like, I want to see how he does for the rest of this week, and hopefully the store will let you do it. They'll let you do it if they're really cool. So just keep an eye on it. If the fish has been there for a really long time and the people are like, yeah, no, nobody knows he's here, nobody's buying him, he's been thriving in here, make sure you pick him up because it's probably a really healthy fish. Now, when it comes to a community aquarium, like I have my Chocolate Gourami in, it's not always a good idea. Like I said earlier, backtracking a little bit to fin nippers. Like if you have fish that are fin nippers, like Columbia tetras, or just something that's a bit more rambunctious, like the bleeding hearts. You just want to be really careful with those. In busy school aquariums, you just want to make sure that the fish is not going to be picked on. Like I have Harlequin rasboras in my tank, and white cloud mountain minnows are a very docile fish. They're not really an aggressive schooler, so you're not going to really see any fin nipping or them chasing after the gourami. If anything, they won't want anything to do with that fish, and they'll just stay clear. Now, I've seen chocolate gouramis give some sass to other fish that get a little too close. I have a peacock gudgeon that he'll actually swim up to, and they'll just do a little show of force. There's no like contact or anything. It's just a little bit of sassiness, like don't get too close to me kind of thing. When it comes to sexing these guys, that's something you're gonna have to look up online, because I absolutely have no idea how to sex them. I've heard it's very difficult to tell the difference between the two, but personally I do not know how to sex them, let alone breeding them. I have no idea how that would even work with these guys. Now, when it comes to feeding them, I mean, you can really feed them an all-around thing. They do like live foods, I've noticed, like black worms and things like that. So if you feed them that kind of stuff, like bloodworms, any type of like white worm or Daphnia, anything that's small and moving, those guys are gonna have a really good time with it. But for the most part, my fish only eats just regular fish flake food. Anything like that sinks down, he'll kind of grab it. So he's not really picky from my experience with this fish. As long as you do everything cautiously with this fish, you really watch them before you buy them, and you give them the best, longest acclimation ever, you're gonna be okay with this fish. This fish is gonna work out in your aquarium. Just do a little bit of research like you are doing right now before you actually get them. Like I said, they are sensitive, but it can be done. So I have them, like I said, in a 7.0 pH aquarium, and he is doing just fine. He loves it, and he's not showing any signs of slowing down. In fact, he kind of thrives in there. I didn't expect this fish to last long, because when I first got him, I was like, oh crap, my client doesn't want two of them, but I guess I got to take him. He's probably going to die within a little while, but I'm going to try with him. And it really worked out, and he's come to be one of my favorite fish in the aquarium. It's just really cool to see that little tiger stripe pattern on him, really natural color on him. And he just gracefully swims through everything, and their eyes are beautiful. You can really watch them focus on things and look at things, which is something you don't see too often with other fish besides cichlids. So it's a really cool fish. I highly recommend it. Just probably watch this video and like 4 other videos, and do some research on a website or something before you do actually get it. There's no bigger bummer than getting a fish and then having them die in a couple weeks or so, especially one you've been thinking about getting for a while. Go into it slowly. Patience is an amazing thing, and it goes really far in the hobby. So I hope you guys appreciate the video. I hope you learned something. I hope you check these fish out, and let me know if you keep these fish. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. I appreciate you guys watching these videos. It means a lot to me. And I hope you guys have a good rest of the day.